What's up, everybody out there? Just wanted to give you a quick video about the reality of farming and food in America. So I just went ahead and moved the egg chicken enclosure. So I moved this fence and this mobile chicken tractor right here. It was all right here, and you can kind of see the outline of where the fence was. And it's been there for about a week and a half. I was a little bit late moving it. I usually move it every week. So just moved everything, so now they're on fresh pasture. As you can see, it's all brand new, and they'll get moved the following week. Just cleaned out their water. Gave them some fresh clean water. So, but the point of this video is, I really want to give a insight on how nobody actually makes money off of farming, and it's by design. So recently I've heard some people, comment about pricing and this and that, and it made me think, I don't know how much people realize actually that there is actually no profit in what I'm doing. I'm talking about whether it's the eggs or the meat chickens. I'm actually in the negative when it comes to doing this current operation I'm doing right now. The only way I would probably get in any kind of positive, like where there's actually a legit profit, is if I paid no property taxes and I own my land completely outright. So that's the reality of farming. I've heard statistics lately, several different reports, that farmers they have the highest suicide rate amongst any profession in America. So that's pretty incredible. That's higher than veterans, that's higher than police officers, that's higher than a lot of other stuff that you would think. And I think the reason why is because the food industry is controlled by a handful of corporations. Many of them are not even within America. The pork industry is mainly controlled by a couple companies from China. So when it boils down to it, when we sell our eggs or we sell our meat chickens, we're just making back a small amount of the money that we actually invested into it. It would not actually be considered profit. So, and how the reason behind that is this chicken tractor right here was an expense. If you include labor, like maybe let's just say $25 an hour, this chicken tractor right here probably costs somewhere in the ballpark of about $1,200 to make. This electric fence costs $200. Each one of these chickens, I don't remember exactly how much they cost, but they're an expense. The biggest monthly cost is the feed. If you want to buy any kind of quality feed that's non-GMO or even organic, you're paying a ton. And so when we sell the eggs, we're just basically making some of the money back on the feed. But the biggest expense is this. It's this land. If I were to factor in how much we pay for this 1 acre of pasture that the animals graze on, I am completely in the negative. It's not even minimum wage if you account for the price of the land, for the amount of time and energy and work that's put into actually farming. So I'm in the negative. So in order to scale it, you have to be able to own your land. That means you have to get involved in some other business. Like I run 2 other businesses. That's actually what makes us money. That's what actually puts food on the table. That's what actually causes all this. Without those 2 other businesses, this farm doesn't exist. So that's the reality. And if you talk to most people around here who, maybe they have more acreage or whatever, they're not making any money off of their farming. They're not making money off of sheep. There's barely any money in the beef industry. I I think that's more profitable than definitely chickens, but it's by design. There are a handful of companies that do it at such a scale and have cornered the market on food. And so people are used to a certain price point. Not only that, but the way that they're farming is completely different than this type of farming, which is actually more healthy and sustainable, and it's actually good for everybody. It's good for the chickens, it's good for the people, it's good for the land. The farming that you're going to see in most, like 90% plus of all chicken farming, is done in barns. And they'll even label it organic because, you know, they're given food that's considered organic, and they are given the option of leaving the barn. And that makes it free range, you know, whatever it is that they label cage free, organic chicken. But that is almost like comparing a bicycle to a car when it comes to two different products of what pasture raised poultry is. So there are some farms out there that do pasture raised poultry at a higher scale, where, you know, we're talking thousands of birds. And they have these gigantic mobile chicken coops that they move, you know, every day on pasture. But you'll see that it's very expensive. You know, a dozen of eggs that you buy from them, you're looking at probably $11, $12, $13 a dozen. And the pastured poultry is even more than what we were selling it at. You know, now if they can get a better deal on feed, and if they can get a better deal on, well, have their land paid off, they can make somewhat of a living. But to call it lucrative would be quite a stretch. So that's the reality of farming in America. And I don't know much about cattle farmers, but I've seen enough of them post videos online and talk to enough of them to know the margins with cattle is very, very slim as well. So the one good thing that if you own your land outright and property taxes are low, and you know, you're going to have a higher margin with the cattle, obviously. But then the butchering costs, the processing costs, all the red tape, you know, depending on what state, and all the different regulations, before you know it, it is very, very small margins with cattle. So, you know, so if the only way out of this mess that I see when it comes to the food industry is that we have to detach from the food drug industrial complex, because it is a combination of government and multinational corporations that don't care about your health. In fact, really, they're working in sync with pharmaceutical companies because they don't care about giving you a healthy product that's going to make you healthy. They're in it for the profit. They don't care about the animal. They don't care about you. And that is the majority of the food that is sold at the grocery stores. So if we wanted to get out of the, you know, basically the bottleneck of, you know, supply chain issues and unhealthy food, you have to start supporting local farms. That is the only way. And most people that do sustainable farming, like, you know, where it's pasture raised, you know, poultry, and they have their animals all working together in sync, it's going to be more expensive. But like I said, it's like comparing a bicycle to a car when it comes to food. The stuff from the store, the commercial, you know, the commercial food, you know, from the big corporations, that's like a bicycle. This stuff that's on poultry on pasture, stuff that's really raised, you know, the right way, that's like a car. I mean, it's almost like apples to oranges. So you can't really compare the two. That's why the prices are different. So if we don't change our mindset, if we don't change the way we think about our food, if we don't change the way we think about this whole industry, it's not looking good for our country. I'm going to tell you that right now. They basically already, I would say, almost have it on lockdown. So the only way that you're going to be able to do what I'm doing is that you have to have another business, and you're basically going to have to treat it as a hobby because all the work you put into it and everything you put into it, you are not going to make any profit. Even if you try to sell stuff, you'll just make a small portion back of what you actually invested into it. I think if everyone had a different mindset, that would begin to change. I'd see a lot of small scale farmers actually be able to, be more profitable, and therefore everyone would benefit because they would be able to scale a little bit more, and they would actually be able to make more of a living doing what they're doing. So anyways, I got a cat over here playing with my foot. What are you doing over here, Daniel? That's Daniel the tiger, according to my daughter, trying to mess with my feet. So I hope this video educates some people out there that maybe have some misconceptions about, what small scale farming looks like, the profitability of it. That we're basically, anybody who's doing this, they're really just making some money back. There is no profit. There is no money in this. This is really just more of a hobby and a way to try to eat healthy, and that's why we raise our chickens the way we raise it, is because we eat the meat chickens that we raise, we eat the eggs that we raise, and we want it a certain way. We want it healthy. That's why we give them fermented food. That's why we take the time to ferment our food. That's why we take the time to move them on pasture. It's because we want something that's actually healthy and that's actually good for our family. So when we sell it, that's what we're selling. So anyways, God bless you all. Have a good 4th, and I will talk to you next time.